Hello, welcome to this third episode in which I introduce you to powerful research tools for biblical studies. Most of the tools that I'm showing you here are web-based. In this case, we actually find a way where the tool can be installed on your local machine so that you can operate offline as well. It's TextFabric. That's the tool I want to introduce you to, and it's by no doubt the most powerful research tool out there at this moment when it comes to biblical studies, when it comes to particularly to the function of querying the biblical texts as well as doing big data analysis on those query results that you are carrying out. You can do syntax queries, you can do complex word combination queries in ways that no other commercial product can even get close to. Accordance nor logos are able to present you with those capabilities that TextFabric has. I'm not going to introduce you to kind of the details of TextFabric at this moment, but I rather want to introduce you to the very practicalities of it. Right here you see TextFabric in its browser mode. We have loaded here the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia. You're seeing that almost like in a Bible software, I can go through the different chapters. Let's say Genesis chapter 20, and I can click on the verse, and I'll get a complete syntactical analysis of that verse here visible. I can carry out extensive morphological analyses as well. You see that it's hyperlinked with Shebunk as well, so if I want to get into further display modes, that's all possible. I can run queries here in this window that allow me to find any type of text or syntactical construction or lexemes as I want. But let's start from the very beginning. So in order to install TextFabric, you need to get a research environment ready, which is the Anaconda research package. How do you install that? Well, I give clear instructions on how to get everything set up on your machine. Doesn't matter whether Linux, Mac OS or Windows based. If you go to my GitHub site, Oliver Glanz TextFabric, on the GitHub site, you will see that there is a research workshop series available for you in which I have published 001 till 0088 Jupyter notebooks that provide you detailed instructions on how to get your system up and running. So if you start with 001, the introduction, you can see that I'm introducing you in the general idea of TextFabric as an exegetical workbench, what type of texts are being available and what type of graphical displays can be made available, and then I explain that you need as an analytic toolkit Anaconda, which is sometimes not necessary to get installed, particularly if you have a Linux environment, but even then I would say install it anyway, because it brings you a lot of additional research analysis, big data analysis tools that you might need anyway, like plotting or even some machine learning tools that are coming within this package. So follow the instructions here. In introduction, it shows you how to install Anaconda and then how to install TextFabric and how to get started. But we will do this here live. We'll first go to the Anaconda website. Here you go, download Anaconda distribution. You can skip the registration and you can then choose your package. Obviously, I'm here now on a Mac OS system, so download for Mac. I'm Apple Silicon, so it's almost it's 750 megabytes big. You then can install it, continue, agree, allow. I usually follow the default settings here provide my password. And then it takes a while. Yeah, I know that it exists already because we have just installed it. Installation failed. Well, it will tell you on your machine that the installation was successful. It tells me now it failed just because I have it already installed. All right, good. We have installed Anaconda. The first step is done. And so we move. Yeah, you see here, Anaconda has been installed. Therefore, we can now move to the installation of TextFabric. The way how you do that, particularly if you are on a computer system and not a mobile system like an iPad, you want to carry out this command on the terminal. So if you are on Windows, you just open the Anaconda terminal or the Anaconda prompt. Here you see kind of a screenshot how it looks like. Otherwise, you can just terminal. Here we go. That is pip install TextFabric, and we want to install all tools that come with it. That's why we do the square bracket all, and then we run pip install. It was super fast, as you see. Well, the reason for that is I have already TextFabric installed. So now we have TextFabric installed. The next thing we do, we can launch the TextFabric browser. Here we have now on our local machine the entire Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia with its morphological, syntactical coding and everything you can wish to have. It has a full research environment in which you can write out complex queries, syntax, morphological queries, all types of possibilities are possible. I'll talk about this at a later stage. But let's close again here our browser. So we are back here. What we have to do in order for that to work, what you just saw, we actually need to load the databases. You cannot start the TextFabric browser without having a text. So in order to do that, we need to download entire databases that we're interested in working with. So that would be, for example, the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia, it could be the Nestle Aland text, it could be the Dead Sea Scrolls, it could be the Babylonian corpus. So we have a lot of texts already available in TextFabric. In order to do that, we are ready to move to our next step, and we are opening the Jupyter notebook or a Jupyter notebook. I do that by carrying out the command Jupyter lab. Jupyter lab. Here we go. So the Jupyter lab has just opened. You can now create a new notebook by just clicking on plus. In my case, I won't do that because I will open an existing notebook. In fact, I'm going to open the notebook that I'm using in my research series. So we're starting with 01. Here it is. You see that we have here exactly the same notebook that you saw displayed here on GitHub. This is just my local copy of it. We have basically followed up on everything that we have described here. The thing is that we might run into a GitHub rate limit. That's definitely the case if you are just starting with TextFabric. There's a rate limit on GitHub for the downloading of databases, which makes you basically in the middle of a download of a database, for example, the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia, you might get hung up. You need to change the rate limits so that you can download any size, and you can do this by following this link. It's provided. It tells you exactly how to adapt or increase the rate limits in both Mac and Linux as well as in Windows environments. Just follow the instructions that are displayed in that link. Okay, good. We have done so. So now we move on to the next step. We are going to download a database. So we do this by always doing two commands, namely first the loading the TF program command and then the loading the TF database command. In this case, we run here the loading of the TF program command. This is done in a second. You didn't even see the computer flink. You activate each command box by clicking shift and then return. So we have just activated, loaded the TF program. So then we go to the next one, and here you see we are now using the TF program to load an entire database. And in this case, we're loading the BHSA, the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia Amstellodamensis. This is basically the Biblia Hebraica Stuttgartensia in its fully annotated, analyzed forms as it's provided by the Iptalzer Center of Bible Computing. That's what this abbreviation stands for, and we are downloading it in the version 2021. That's the latest canonical version as far as I'm informed, and we also can load some extra modules that the Center of Biblical Languages and Computing here at Andrews University has developed. These are handy tools. We're talking about that at a later stage in another episode. But let's load this database. So what happens now is that TextFabric checks on your local machine whether the database is already present. If not, it's going to download it, and that might take, depending on your internet connection, a couple of minutes. Now, the database has been loaded, and you see that with it, you can check what type of features this database has. You see here we have strong numbers, we have interlinear information, we have verbal class information, and so on that come here with the center of BLC. But then the native features are here. These features, many of them are word features, lexemes, obviously, pronominal suffix information, and so on. Well, we are not going into the details here at this stage. Let's move on, and for the fun of it, let's actually load a couple of other texts that are freely available, high quality annotated texts that are all provided by robust research environments. Think about the University of Pennsylvania CATS project of the LXX. It's available here in the Ralph's 1935 edition. The Dead Sea Scrolls are available here for free as well, and I'll give you a couple of little demonstrations in a second. And obviously the Nestle, the New Testament, the Nestle text is available too. Here are the 4 texts that we are going to load right now. So again, it's going to check whether you have these databases installed on your local machine. If not, it's going to download them automatically from GitHub. Again, keep in mind, you might run into rate limit issues. You most likely will if you have not followed the instructions in my first introductory in the 001 Jupyter notebook that provides you with the link on how to overcome or how to increase your GitHub download rate limits. Just follow that in case you are not getting any further when downloading these databases. That will be the reason. Okay, good. We've downloaded these corpora, and now we are just experimenting a little bit with it. We're just doing very simple word searches at this stage. I'll show you much more complex stuff at a later moment, but let's say we are going to look in the BHS text, right? In the BHS text, we want to look for the word Abraham as well as Abram. Here in transliterated version, I usually use only transliteration. It just makes typing much faster and easier. Obviously, you need to know the transliterated alphabet then. I just have to type in the consonants here, and these forward slashes just identify the written word as being a noun or substantive. This, for every programmer among you, you know that this vertical line just represents the OR function, and OR, the OR function. So we're going to look in the book Genesis in chapter 17 for the word Abraham and Abram. That's where the transition in the names is happening. And we're going to look this up by running this query definition. You see here we define the query. We call the query BHS Abraham search. That's what you see here, BHS Abraham search. Now that's the defined query. So what is BHS Abraham search standing for? It stands for this very query, looking in the book of Genesis in chapter 17 for either the word Abraham or Abram. Now, once we have defined the search parameters, so to say, we are executing the search, and we call the result of the executed search. See, we're searching the BHS with this query. We're calling the query results BHS Abraham search. We use the same name. We don't have to, but it's practical. I think so. And then finally, so right here, it's executing the search, but then we want to display the search results as well. This is what this is saying. We want to see the results in table format, and let's do that. Here we go. 14 results. In chapter 17, 14 times Abraham or Abram is being mentioned. You see here 10 times 10 lines are being shown. That's because we have said we want to show the first result and the 10th result. If we go here to number 14, then we should see all results. Here you see we have now all results, 11 lines of results. However, there are 3 lines that have double results: Abram, and then Abraham. Yeah, so these in total make up the 14 results. You could, of course, also say I want to see them in the context of a real clause. Let's just see a look at the first result. Here you see now the results in the environment of the clause with all its clause boundaries being displayed. So you see here Vayhi Avram ben Tishaim Shana u Tisha Shanim. So the conjunction phrase, the predicate phrase, the subject phrase, the predicate complement phrase is being displayed here. And then there's a second appearance of Abraham, Vayera Adonai el Avram, and it appeared Yahweh to Abraham. Obviously here Yahweh the subject, Yera appearing the predicate, Nifal here, and then el Avram the indirect object complement. We can, of course, show many more features if we wanted. We could say, let us see also person information. Person information. Here we now see Vayhi, person is the third person. Vayomer, person is the third person. Or we can just say multi-features. Show us all features. Multi-features is true. Well, don't be scared, because now we see a lot of information being presented. Here you see Abraham is all morphological information that you get with the BHSA and the side-loaded center of BLC extra modules being presented here. Vayehi, you see here, for example, that is the verbal class of first good role and third hey verb, for example. Or here you see the translation of the glosses of the dictionary in English as well as in Spanish. All right, good. So let's get back to what we had. Here we go. And now we are going to, let's do a table. So we are now going to another query name. We're going to query the Septuagint. You see that we are looking for any word in the Septuagint that contains the word Abram or Abraham. I can write the transliteration. That's a handy feature that we have built in here. And then we execute that search. You see here's the search definition. We execute that search in the LXX TextFabric corpus, and then we want to have that search, let's say, shows result in table form. Here we go. We find this. I have defined it here just For the case of illustration, to show the 65th result and the 66th result, that's actually in verse 5 where this transition between Abram and Abraham takes place. So we have 278 cases in the entire Old Testament, and also here, of course, we can show this in the context of the actual clause and verse. Here you go. Multi-features obviously can be displayed. There's a lot of morphological information contained here as well. But let's move on. So this was the LXX as an example. We can search obviously for Abram in the New Testament as well. This is the Nestle text that is being queried. We're looking for the word Abram, and here we have our 73 cases. I'm just showing the second case, start and end is second. Of course, we can also go and say, let's show the first 20 cases in table format. Here you have them. Yeah. Okay, good. So let's go back here to what we had. Then let's move to the Dead Sea Scrolls as my final example. Here for a TextFabric simple word query, we can say let's find in, for example, the scroll first Q1, first Q Isaiah A. We want to find a line in which the word Abraham appears. So this is the query definition, right? Then we are searching the DSS TextFabric database, and we want to get our information in table format. So we run the query, and here it is. In 0.23 seconds, we get 4 results. Let's see them all. Here are the 4 results. And this comes straight from the Great Isaiah role that we know from the Dead Sea Scrolls. Again, also here, you could show the entire line of the Isaiah roll. So this is the single line. It's this is the line number in which Abraham appears. Okay, good. So this was just a very quick introduction into how to install TextFabric and how to get started with TextFabric. I'm sure there are a lot of more questions. They are, most of them, answered in my research workshop series, which you find again on GitHub. There are a total of 8 notebooks that you can follow, and it will run you through the powerful options that TextFabric offers to you, with data analysis options, with complicated syntax query options, with graphing and plotting and statistical analysis. Much more is waiting there for you, but that will appear in another video tutorial sometime in the future. Thank you.